Hi, Willa.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. I just love you and our time together. I tell you all the time, I'm like, I just think you're the coolest person literally ever. Willa, everybody watching, Willa's like fucking cool. Can I say fucking? Because I'm saying, but you're really cool.
Well, I love you, and I think you're the coolest person ever. So there we go.
I love it. Okay, so everybody watching, this is Willa. She's my client. We've been working together for how long? Like,
Like, I feel like 6 to 9 months, maybe
I would
longer.
Yeah, I was just about to say 8 to 10 months. That was what
Yeah.
I was thinking. So we've been together for a while and we love each other so much. So Willa's here and she's going to share her experience with blush. So are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so tell us why you decided to join blush in the first place.
So I actually tried blush for the first time, I think 3 years ago. And my mom had read a bunch of articles about blush and how it was female founded and female run, and thought it was a great option because I wasn't loving traditional talk therapy. So I really wanted to find something that was forward thinking and was more about kind of taking a little bit more action and charge and game planning my life, because I felt really lost. So I did it for a few months with a different coach, found it super helpful, and then life gets busy. And so I kind of fell off of it. And then this year I came back to it because I was feeling really similarly. I had lost my job, I was having a hard time in my relationship, and I wanted some guidance, and I felt like I needed someone to talk to that wasn't like my mom.
Yeah, I love that. And
Yeah.
everybody always says that of like, sometimes it's just really, really nice to have an unbiased, neutral party that you can just talk to. And it feels like it's, just either an older sister or a mentor or a best friend that you can just like gab with and really get some goals going and get a good game plan going. So I love that. What about, what had you hoped to like get out of blush in the process?
Yeah, I think that I really wanted, well, a couple of different things. So I really wanted to feel like I was in charge of my life as much as you believe you can be in charge of your life. I really wanted to feel like I was taking charge. I was taking some next steps in my life. I'm in my mid 20s, post grad, life is a little crazy. And I just wanted to get kind of an outside perspective on what am I feeling right now? What am I thinking? Are these normal pandemic kind of thoughts, or are these like, maybe I need to make a change in my life? So I wanted someone that wasn't so close in on my circle to look at everything and kind of help guide me.
Yes, I love that. And it's really like holding a mirror up to your life and just really like framing it in a different way that might be more like digestible, because I think when people come to the process and they're feeling lost and scattered and just like, oh my God, I'm in the quarter life crisis and I can't even breathe because I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like you can spiral very quickly in that
Oh yeah.
space. And so I think having someone like, we're good, we're okay, you're fine, validate you, hold a mirror up, come up with a game plan. Like that's what blush is all about. So it's great that you've got that experience. What do you like most about blush? This one's a good one.
Well, a couple things. I really, really like the scheduling options. So and there's a bunch of different options with Blush, but what I do is I pay for two 30-minute sessions a month because that's what works best for my schedule and my needs. So I usually do every other week where I'll hop on with you and we'll chat and everything. So I like that element of it, that it's really like made to fit my needs and what my schedule looks like, since my schedule changes a lot day to day. So I like that, but I also really like that it, based on what I was looking for when I first came on, it matched me with you. So it wasn't so much like trying out a bunch of different therapists or a bunch of different coaches until I found one that fit. It really kind of did the work for me to be like, hey, here you go. Here's kind of what we think you're looking for, and personality wise, someone that you'd like to work with.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, it's super customized in the sense of that we have so many plans. So really like depending on like the minutes that you want to spend with a coach, either 30 minutes or an hour, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, like chat. And, you know, I mean, we have so many different plans. So really there's something for every single person that comes to Blush. And also we have an algorithm that matches. So like when you sign up, you say like your availability, like when you want coaching, whether that's weekdays or weekends, you say what topics you want to be coached on, and then you put in your personality preferences, and it gives you options of like, this would be your best option for a coach. And it matches with my availability, my topics that I love to coach on, and my personality. So it's cool because I think everybody who watches these can really see how like special the relationship is between me and all my clients, because it's not even like you have to try. It's like you get on that first session and you're like, okay, I've known you forever. Like, let's get to work, sis, you know? So I love that you speak to that, because it's just, I think such an important piece of it is the relationship, which brings me to the next question. How would you describe your relationship with me?
Well, I love working with you. I talk about you all the time, like actually to my parents and my sister and my friends. I'm like, oh my God, Elise is amazing. I think that I personally really benefit from the fact that like, I feel like you're my friend more than anything. Like I feel like even if, you know, somewhere down the road, I was like, you know what, I don't really feel like I need coaching necessarily anymore, I would still feel like I could text you if I was in your city and be like, let's grab a coffee kind of thing. So I feel like that's our relationship. I really feel like you're like my biggest fan almost, or cheerleader, like literally, like, you know, we follow each other on Instagram. And so you see a little bit more into my personal life too, which I like. And I like seeing yours and like recognizing that we're not just like the client and the coach. Like it's much more of a personal relationship. So that's how I feel about it. And I really love it.
Oh, I agree too. It's really cool because with I mean, you mentioned therapy versus like life coaching, and in the therapy world, like you legally can't do that. You can't be friends on Facebook. You can't have each other's numbers. You can't meet up if you're like if we're both traveling to Florida, like you can't do that. And I think I love the freedom of coaching because I'm such a personal girl, and like I truly like love you and love all of my clients, and it's not like you're just my client. Like if you weren't a client of mine anymore, we would still be friends, you know, and we would still be very much in each other's lives. So that's what's different about life coaching, and I think that's really the foundation of the process is built on like how special of a relationship we have, which I just think is so beautiful in so many different ways. Tell me what benefits you've gotten out of the process so far.
So far, I think that, well, and I'll share like a tiny bit about like what life changes I've gone through. I moved across the country. I moved back to my hometown this year. I ended up becoming a realtor. I like flipped my life completely around and did a bunch of things I never thought I would do. So I think that the biggest benefit for me so far coming out of this is feeling like every step that I am thinking through and that I am taking is purposeful and is my choice and feels valid and right. So that is like the biggest thing. That's my biggest takeaway, and just the process of kind of like reformatting. I like used to be a perfectionist in everything. I think I still am, but you know, kind of resetting my mind a little bit to realize like, okay, like you don't have to be perfect, and failing at things is okay. And just because you're starting over in a career or moving home or whatever doesn't mean you're a failure. So I think being given those tools through Blush has been the most beneficial for me.
Everybody deserves grace. If I could give one gift to the world, it would be grace, because we're all conditioned to be perfectionists and to always strive to be the best and to avoid failure, which is just like I feel like that's like a hamster wheel, you know, like you're never going to get to the end because failure is inevitable, you know, and like hitting road bumps and hardships, like that's just life. So getting those tools of like giving yourself grace and just being flexible, and also like the confidence it takes to like make the life changes that you've made, like that proves that you've gotten to a place where you're taking action in your life, right? Like we go back to the beginning where you kind of felt lost and, you know, you didn't know what direction you wanted to go, but like now it's like, okay, I know what I want. I know how to get there. And like, it's go time, you know, and I get to be like your cheerleader holding your hand through all of that. Like, let's go, Willa, you know?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So what are we currently working on?
So currently we're focusing kind of on, you know, just more big life changes, but I'm talking a lot about my relationship. I'm looking at buying a house myself for the first time. So we're talking through those big steps, and just my overall kind of, the way that I think about it is also thinking about my next 5 years and what I see for myself in the next 5 years, because I'll be entering my 30s. And so what that kind of looks like for me. So specifically, you know, we're focusing on improving my romantic relationships and looking at a house, but bigger picture, I'm looking at, you know, what steps should I be taking if I want to get married in the next 5 years, if I wanted to start trying to get pregnant, you know, those kinds of big life things.
Yes, all the things. I literally love it so much. I love it. Okay, so who would you say is like a good candidate for blush?
I think anyone who feels like they actually, let me back up. I think that if you are someone who was like, therapy's not for me, I don't need it, I think you're a good candidate for blush. Because I have been that way for years. And then after trying different therapists, I was like, this still isn't for me. This isn't working. This is not making me feel good. Finding blush was like a breath of fresh air. So I think anyone who feels that way should try it. I also think anyone who is female identifying, or maybe feels like they are like, maybe someone who feels like they don't necessarily want a male perspective on things, I think should try blush, because I have a number of male identifying friends who have tried blush and loved it, because it kind of takes out this element of like needing to present in a certain way, right?
Yes.
So I think that someone like that is a great candidate for blush, or just someone really who is feeling lost, is going through that quarter life crisis, who needs a fresh set of eyes. I think sign up for a blush session and just see if you like it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you spoke to that, because I think, you know, we really make sure that everybody feels comfortable who's a client of ours. And we make sure that anyone signing up sees themselves in the mirror when looking at our lineup of coaches. And so I love that you pointed that out. And I think that, you know, we're here for everybody and we love it. Okay, last question, which makes me sad because I just love our time together. What advice would you give to someone who's considering joining or who just started out?
Kind of going back to your point, I think give yourself grace. So, you know, your life, I think if I've taken anything away from the last year, it's that life is never going to always go in the direction you want it to. So I think as soon as I realized that, and no matter how much planning I do, no matter how much goal setting I do, things are going to come up and I'm going to hit bumps. So I think someone who's just starting this process, give yourself grace to be okay with not knowing what's coming next and sit in that unknown a little bit, but also like know that the tools, that blush is going to pull these different tools out of you and help and show you how you can better use them for your life. But you already have all of the strength and the power within you to achieve that. Yes. So I think, you know, cut all of the bullshit of the self-doubt or whatever and just focus on like, okay, if I can't think a year from now, let me just think about tomorrow. Like, what does my tomorrow need to look like, and start from there.
Oh, yes. I literally could not have said that better myself. Like, everybody already possesses all of the qualities and everything it takes to like get where you want to go. You just have to have somebody show that to you and make you believe it for yourself. So I love that so, so much. I love you so, so much.
I love you too.
Oh, this was so much fun. Thank you for doing this. Everybody, Willa's a badass. If you've watched this far, you already know that by now, but I love you, Willa. Thank you so much for doing this, and I will talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.